This week, I was talking with Dana Weinberger about hiring, hiring people and teammates, and I learned a lot from it. And a lot of our key points is, you know, I think a lot of us we keep getting caught in this trap of what everyone else is doing. And the entrepreneurial world, we're not entrepreneurial companies are not like the corporate companies, just not wired the same. So the traditional conventional way to hire and process and all those silly rules just doesn't make sense. And I've done this, it's proven many, many times. If I try to follow the conventional book, it doesn't work. I've talked to other entrepreneurs, visionary entrepreneurs, it's the same shit, just not the same. Something's got to change. So, in a way, in the past, I've done very well with hiring, and we always seem to go through a lot of bad spells of bad hiring, then we find good ones. And as your company grows, your team needs to grow with you. Some can't stay with you with the growth, they just don't want that, or they're not wired for that. Sometimes the company outgrows them, and there's nothing wrong with that. They need to find somewhere else to work, because it won't be healthy for them to stay with a company that they can't grow with. um, so having that said, when you're at a different transition, your company's at a transition stage, we need to hire differently. And the way Dana was explaining it is to also look what you need in the future, not what you just need right now. And she made a really good point. We seem to hire for now. We need someone today. Come on, we need them now. And then by the time they show up, there's no work because all that work got done. But at the same time, if we want to do we should be doing strategic hiring, not reflexive hiring. We're reactive hiring. What do we need in the future? What do I need now? But we got to keep that what we need in the future, not just the company, but you as the entrepreneur. What do you need and want out of the person now and in the future? And that concept hasn't really, I never really looked at it that way, but down the road, I was always hiring for now. And that was a key one for me. And the core values, I think, is a lot more important, more so than money. As much as everyone uses money as an excuse to not go somewhere or to go somewhere, that's not the real reason. I think still today, the main reason people leave they leave their job is actually because of bad managers, not for a bad company. So core values, I think people are being more aligned because they're giving them, we're allowed to be more selective. We don't need to, well, it's the old mantra, stay in one place for 30 years and then you retire and they'll take care of you. That was the only loyalty. Even if your core values didn't align. And I think that's a lot more important to people nowadays, even my generation, the Gen X's. I think it's just at that time we weren't allowed to and wasn't permitted, or it was, it was just not well looked at. If that's what you want to do is follow your heart. Now it's generally accepted and you can do that. So it's very important. Not everyone is for you, your company, and not everyone and not you are not for everyone. So when I do interviews, when we say thank you for your time, my reply to them is, hey, this interview is two ways. You're interviewing me, I'm interviewing you. So when you leave that door today, you need to make a decision if I'm the person for you to work for. Because if you don't think I am, just say no, thank you. I'm not interested. Don't have to give me the reason why. Just say no, I'm not interested anymore. It saves both us a lot of time, money, and heartache. So it is a two-way street. Relationship. Dana also talked about it has to be relationship. Not that they're going to be buddies forever. It's just that we know each other more. And the core values, to have that facilitated and to be executed, probably it needs to be shared. And the only way you can execute that and live it is by having a relationship with your team. Okay. And no matter what entrepreneurial group, business people, shed off your task, do it. And hiring is one of the first things that all coaches tell you to do. It's not fun. It's not enjoyable. Sometimes I think it's a waste of time, but that's when I got into trouble, when I got rid of that. And Dana had a major main point here. It's imperative that the entrepreneur must be part of hiring. They're the only reasons that can talk about the company with passion. They're the only ones that can sell the vision, the future. The staff, the team can't do that. They can regurgitate it, but the passion and the feeling's not there. That's the true essence of the company, is with the entrepreneur with their passion. It can't be replicated with anyone else. So that's why it's very important that you're part of the process, not necessarily the whole thing, but the part of it. So my first company, everyone's, we got a long list of applications. A team member goes through, set a bunch of rules and set, yes, no, based on conditions of resumes and certain things we're looking for. Then it was whittled down to people to have a phone call interview. That was the old days. Now it's a Zoom call. And this is the check to verify that not by me, by my team member, that there's some sort of validation or verification that the skill sets you got on your resume make sense and there's no bullshit. And also to see if you would be a good fit for the culture. Okay. Not good, arrogant, whatever criteria you set, then that can be a direct yes, no. Your team needs to have a direct yes, no, not a maybe. If they got a maybe, they got to come to you. So after that, we do the Kolbe assessment. We do a Kolbe profile on the position that we request, because depending on what we need that role to be, has its own MO, its own profile. And we make sure that the Kolbe has their Kolbe A will work with the position, because I don't want to bring someone in and fail based on their Kolbe, because, if I want someone to do a bunch of cold calls and I bring in someone who's not comfortable with that, because that's not the way they operate, they're not going to be happy. They're going to quit. So we're using that. Once they get through that, we go through in a little more detail, go through the results of the phone calls. And then we do the interview. When we were a bit bigger, my first company, they'd have a first round of interviews in person with the team members. The team members would vet if someone was good or not. Then I would do the second round. We would bring them a second time, and I would do the sniff test, as I called it. That's when I actually sold the company. That's when I actually describe what I want to do, what we're looking for a team member, and then to see if there's anything, a sniff test. Would they fit? Would they not? I just have a natural ability to sense different things. Then we would send a job offer. Once the person's on the team, we meet weekly to see what's working, what's not, what tools do they need for him to help them succeed. And we do that for 4 weeks. Then we determine if it's going to continue to be weekly or every other week or once a month until the probation period is done. We want them to feel secure. We want them to succeed. And we're showing that, and at the same time, building a relationship. And I just want to quickly explain a couple big mistakes that I did. I remember I was trying to hire someone to replace me, but now I discover I need 8 people to replace me, because not everyone can do what an entrepreneur does. The biggest, I can go on a long list, but the big thing, if for some reason you've got a little gut feeling going, something ain't right, the person's an automatic no. Every hire I've done, and I've had to let them go, I could always go back to an interview, somewhere in the interview where my gut went, no, not good. And then I justified or overrode it. The gut knows. You don't have to justify or understand it. Just start trusting your gut more. That's it. Doesn't matter. Don't hire the best of the worst. You have to go through another round. It's annoying. It's a pain. But hire slow and you have to fire fast. So we got to listen to our guts. Energy, if you think they're draining energy, positive energy, all that kind of stuff, honestly, it works. In the end, you've got to trust yourself. They have to be the right person for the team as a whole, but to do what you want to do. So I hope you got a lot of the conversation with Dana, because I did, and I hope this summary works out well. What hiring process do you have? I'd like to hear from you. Send me an email at André@theimpulsivethinker.com. Drop some notes in the comments. I'd like to know. Thanks again for listening and learning with me. Take care.